Nourishment is the key to health, and health is obviously the key to a happy life. Let us understand the word nourishment first. The Cambridge Dictionary defines nourishment as food that you will need to grow and stay healthy. In real life, the more holistic definition of nourishment would be energy that we need to stay healthy, positive, happy, productive. So what would we need for this? The right kind of food, the right kind of thought, the right training to nourish our mind, body, soul to be physically strong, mentally positive, and spiritually fulfilled, totally in sync, in alignment with this universe, this beautiful opportunity at life and living. Sometimes we understand concepts better by a question and answer mode, in the ideal Plato-Socrates method of dialogue. The theme for our discussion today is nourishment of India's future generation. The question is, what would it look like for our children to be nourished? How would their brains function at a higher capacity? What would their creativity look like? What would the community around them need to be to support the idea that our children are important? And what kind of energy, food, do they need to be nourished well enough? So today we are going to talk about key components of nourishment, starting from the domain of food to mental nourishment and life choices, and of course, last but not the least, spiritual nourishment. Starting with food, friends, it is essential that we reconnect with the environment around us. You remember, not that long ago, all food was local, seasonal, nutritional. Just like we had a local hardware store, a local doctor, a local pharmacist, we had a local farmer and a local source of produce and weekly markets. These were the basic building blocks of a healthy society. Only once agriculture became industrialized and the idea that all types of food should be available everywhere all the time, did we start to replace local agriculture with industrial dependency. In the name of ease, we lost our integrity and the environment, and our bodies have suffered for it. Corona, friends, was also a byproduct of this global economy. Nourishment and food have to come from our local soil. We need to reconnect to the environment around us. Nourishing India's future generations is about reconnecting real food to our schools and homes. Access to healthy, nourishing food should never be an issue for our children. At home, what are the things that we can do? First of all, remove these preservative-laden food from kitchen. Do not give in to the mall culture. Do not go for bright, shining packages. Join the government initiative to include millets, coarse grains in our diet like old times. Our forefathers had better wisdom. Let us trust that because they had better bones than us. Eat meals together, keeping our phones and TV away from dinner table. Eat at right time, small little things which go a very long way. Teach our children the traditional skills or family dishes like nimona in eastern UP in winters, makke ki roti and sarson da saag in western India, the delicious rasam from south. This is not just good food, friends. It is the best nutrition that you can think about. Tell them stories underlying the rationale behind getting up early and doing Surya Namaskar, salutations to the sun god, to imbibe respect for nature. Our body is essentially made up of energy. Our body and being both is made up from Panchabhuta, the 5 elements: earth, water, sky, wind, fire. The older people in the family knew this. They can be a good resource to tell our children how Indian culture, that is as old as Rig Veda, as old as Manu, as old and rich as river Ganges, Susruta, Charaka and Arthashastra, had imbibed key health practices by integrating it with cultural folklore and stories. Tulsi ka paudha, the tulsi plant, neem, haldi, turmeric, sugarcane juice have always been a part of every Indian mother's and every Indian grandmother's kitchen and way of life. Start trusting it. Use it more. Don't lose it. As for what the schools can do, well, the government schools are already doing. They are providing the midday meal scheme. Pregnant women and small children are also being supported by government programs aimed at proper nutrition. The private schools can also pitch in. They can sponsor a school garden, encourage children to bring homemade tiffins, rather than promote synthetic food like Maggi, pasta, chips, cold drink, cakes. We can build a school culture that encourages and supports the Vocal for Local initiative by government. NEP 2020 is also keen on these skills, and we can always find ways to inspire student mindset towards a healthy living. Yoga and sports can be a bigger part of school curriculum. Parent bodies can be made aware on a systemic basis about limited time on screen. Then comes mental nourishment, which is equally important for our children. We need to give them choices, as Amartya Sen propounded, to choose and grow and become the best version of themselves. To have as many choices in courses and professions. Besides, a democratic, stable, peaceful country with equal growth opportunities, with easy access to social security and justice, with the inherent pride and joy of a multicultural, plural living that is India. A sustainably growing population with laws and nature in place, side by side with development. If we work with this vision, spiritual nourishment will happen by itself. If I were to say it poetically, I would cite Nobel laureate Rabindranath. Rabindranath said, "Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depths of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way, into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake." Thank you so much.